Well, hello and welcome to this new review on this channel. This time we're going to talk about the Genos 2, which you've already guessed because of the title either below or above or in the list when you clicked on the video to watch it. I will watch to this left time because I've got a paper here with a few points because I've got too many topics and too much to say about them. If I would do it without my notations, I would either forget something or I would forget it. Okay, so let's continue and I will check the list. And before we begin, I want to start with the negative stuff. That's not too much. And then we'll continue with the good stuff. Well, one thing, Yamaha did it again. I never expected this, to be honest, but maybe they didn't have the same problem as I have because of my rough hands, but the paint of the buttons. Yes, it is just like the first model of Genos on top of the keys instead of like with the Tyro series on the bottom. They will, for me, the question is when will they wear out or off, not if they will wear out or off. So, too bad, a missed opportunity for Yamaha to change the hardware for the good. And for me, that was the only downfall. But according to the replies that I see on every review or demo video of the Genos 2, is people seem to have a hate on for the Genos 2 is out already and within a month there's an update. Boo! Boo! Boo? Everybody is wearing the Genos 1 on golden gloves. It's the keyboard to own. It's the keyboard without faults. Go to the site of Yamaha and check how many updates there were before that keyboard had that golden standard of being the best Yamaha workstation they made. A lot more than the Genos. So to me, the update is not a bad thing. Because why? Every device in your home, your TV, my new speakers, everything gets updates. Why? Because stuff is being made by people and people make mistakes. No matter how good of a developer you are human, and we are humans that make mistakes. And yes, even with the checking that they do, mistakes may slip through, or hackers will find a way to still get into your device. And so the developer of the device will create updates so problems will be solved. If you wouldn't have any updates, the problem will be there forever. So you gotta live with it. Everything that is connected to the internet gets updates. Get over it. And that was, for other people, the second negative point about the keyboard. For me, it isn't negative because, let's be real, everything gets updates. I have a television that has the same price as the Genos, and it had like, I think 8 updates or something, whatever. Either they added things to the operating systems or they removed a bug. But no matter what, it had updates. Now on to the good stuff. Yeah. Well, let's begin with all the new effects they added. Because for me, that is the only thing they can improve. I will explain later when I come to the samples. We now have a Revolution reverb, and we have, I forget all the names of the new effects. I should have written them down too, but you can adjust the distance from the microphone to the drum kit. In other words, either you put it really close and you get the pure sounds that the drum kits make. But not within steps, but very fluently, you can put them further back until the back of the room. So also the ambience of the room will be recorded. So you will hear the drum kit, including the sound reflection, the room or the space that the drum kit is in will be recorded. And that doesn't sound the same as a reverb, because a reverb is an effect done by a processor to mimic a reverb instead of a real a reflection of the sound towards the microphone. And since they both have their own character, you can even mix them together to get the result you want. And everything that you change can be stored in a one-touch setting and or registration. I have to think about the registration word, because most of the time I'm using the style control and the OTS. So also there's another extra effect, and that's the third one, and that is the intensity that the musicians play on their instrument. For instance, the drums, a guitar. Especially with the drums, you can really hear this, because when you really smash the snare drum, it gives not only a louder sound, but because of the skin of the drum is wobbling in a different way, it gives a different sound character. You get that same effect in that new effect knob that you've got. Peter Baartmans is explaining this in an even more technical ways with the MIDI velocity. But the MIDI velocity can be seen as how hard someone hits the drum. I will use the drum for an example because it's the easiest to hear the difference with. With another instrument, it's less obvious. And no, this is not the same as changing the volume. You can still do that too. And yes, so in older models you can mimic this effect by changing the volume. But if you got a sharp hearing in true small changes, and also the bigger ones of course, and everything in between, then you'll definitely hear the difference. It makes for more expression in your song, especially when you do a musical score or an epic demo to demonstrate this. It's awesome that you can store this in a registration or in your OTS, and then you can really let go and go up and down in the scale and play with the emotions in the song. Me, I love this. So, like I said, we were going to the samples, and with this also the equalizer adjustments. Well, a sample, as most of you will know, is a sound recorded from a real instrument, and that's being played back when you play. And to make a tiny bit more detail on how the process is working, it's not just recording and putting it on and it's ready. No, when it's like a string, it has to loop. They will have to find the perfect place to cut the samples, the start and the ending, so you'll get a seamless string sound without a hiccup. Try this yourself, record something on your PC, laptop, and then try looping this sound and try making it sound that you don't hear the cut where you reuse the sample again. This will be harder than you think, and so I've already tried this a few times with my video edit program, and all I can say is hats off to the guys at Yamaha and all the other keyboard makers, to be honest, because every keyboard does this. You will not hear the breakup where the recording is starting and where it's ending. And that is what I found truly amazing on every workstation, so also the older models. But from the 3 on, my hearing doesn't hear the difference in sound quality anymore. What I do hear is the difference in the effects they will add to the keyboard. for instance, the new Revelation Reverb, which I've talked shortly about. The Revelation Reverb is so good and improved that it's actually hearable in my latest video, if you go one video back, Dance Monkey from Tones and I. In that song, I've used everything that was new in the Genos. I've used the original OTS, the first chosen instrument I copied to the second OTS, and the third OTS instruments I copied to the fourth. Or from 4 to 3 and 2 to 1. I don't remember correctly, but the instruments you will hear, those were the ones that I cloned. And all I did was add a little bit more Revelation Reverb on top of it, and also for the style, so they are in balance. Because if the right instrument sounds spacious, so should the rest of the band be. Because if you are playing in an orchestra, what do you say? Hey, orchestra, you go outside play and I will play here in this small room, so we will sound differently. No, you are all in the same room, so I want the same effect on my style as I've got on the instruments. And that can be done and can be heard in my latest upload. But back to the samples themselves. They are great. There are a lot of new ones, and especially that instrument that Peter used in the very first song he played from Japan. Ah man, that I forgot the name, Shakaharu, I don't know, I'm not Japanese, but it sounds awesome. And if I am inspired to do an epic, like musical sound score or a movie score, I mean, then I will definitely try to squeeze that instrument in to see what I can do with that, because it sounds really awesome. About the equalizer adjustments, I will have a small story about this. This can, like a lot of things that are coming now, most of them, if not all, can be done on the older workstations from Yamaha. But I will talk about them here. But you've got equalizer settings for your instruments, the stealths, and the master EQ. And I'm even in the Dutch version, I'm even forgetting the compressor, but even if you don't use that, you'll get great sound. And this is especially true for when you want to upload to YouTube. I will explain you why. A very long time ago, I don't remember how many years, but I still had only my Tyros 4. And I was at a workshop when the Genos was recently released. I didn't have it at that time yet. And other people had Tyros 5s. And more expensive speakers than I had. I had the StagePad 600, which I've been using for quite a long time now, with an electro voice subwoofer added to it for more body to the sound. And I was and am still very happy with it, even though I'm going to sell them. But when I was playing at that workshop in Belgium, I don't know who was the organizer, but that doesn't matter, that's not the point of the story. At one point of that day, someone came to me and he said, Ronald, I don't understand. Can you please explain why everyone in this room has a newer keyboard and has more expensive speakers, but still so I prefer your sound? How can this be? And I said, well, I don't know if they are using the default settings or not, or my adjustments are more your taste. But everyone, so including you who is watching, everyone can change the characteristics, the dynamics of your keyboard, either per instrument, per style or MIDI, per microphone. Every sound source has an equalizer, and on top of that you have the master EQ that will set everything in one go. And this master EQ will also be recorded when you use the digital recording function in the keyboard, no matter what keyboard you are using, or when you capture the audio through audio cable, or how I'm doing it recently through the USB, digital audio. I can just connect it through USB to the laptop and capture the sound digitally. This is the way I'm doing it for the live stream, so you get the best sound quality possible on live streams. And when I'm making YouTube videos like Dance Monkey, I'll use the internal audio recorder. And with video edit, I will cut out the sound of the microphone of the camera and I'll mix in the audio that the keyboard records. And you get an awesome quality sounding video and audio. So the EQ is a powerful tool and it's nothing different in this one. It sounds amazing. Well, in the video that no longer exists on my old channel, I made a video, what should Yamaha do when they want to persuade me in picking up a Genos 2. One of these points was, I want to see the balance change. And with balance I mean the amount of new stuff versus the amount of old stuff that you keep in the instrument. Well, they've listened. I don't know perfectly the amount, the balance, how much it is, because there are so many styles, but still there's more new than old. And it's not rehashed. Yeah, they had 6 years to make it, but still in these 6 years you've got a lot of awesomely produced styles with which you also can add or remove, better still, because some people think that, for instance, variation 4 is too busy, so sometimes less is more, so you can remove parts. But like I said, also this can be done with the older keyboards. In the Tyros for the Pros 1 and 2, they show you that example on the Tyros 4, and I know for sure that the 1, 2 and 3 could do this also. So there's a lot more new, and now Yamaha has taken the removed content, put it in a pack and say, you know what, if you want the old stuff back, yes, you can just reinstall it. But by default, you get a tremendous amount of styles. So it's not that you get less, no, you get still an amazing amount of styles. I forgot the number, it's truly a lot. And of those amazing amount, more is new than old. So that was for me a big reason, because often I get inspired by just holding a chord and cycling through the different styles there are. As a matter of fact, as you'll hear, what's his name, Lai Wiram do in his videos. So, next to the next thing. And that is something that I've seen coming back as a negative. And to be honest, due to the misleading pictures in the build up to when is the Genos 2 coming, I was in the very first instance also disappointed with the fact that there's no collapsible screen, so you could aim it more towards you. But, except for the misleading pictures, the disappointment was turned into positivity 3 seconds after I went into the options. You can adjust the clarity of the screen and the buttons, both separately. I'm using right now a 1000 watt LED constructor's light. It's being worked on a big construction building place where they make buildings and to put light on a big surface. It's truly bright and I'm using it so I get a deeper color in my video. But it also made me having trouble to see the screen of the first Genos, because it's truly a bright source of light. Now with the Genos on 40%, I no longer have this problem. I can see the screen clearly. So, and I'm using 40 of 100% of the brightness of the screen. So I will almost dare to bet on it that you will be able to see the screen outside when sunlight is hitting the screen. Because the difference between 40 and 100% is so much that I almost should have to squint my eyes. So yes, it is bright enough. Speaking of the brightness of the buttons, the brightness of the screen can be done within steps of 1, from 1 to 100. The brightness of the buttons is going in 4 steps, 1, 2, 3, 4. The plus point is, I love it when my home, when it's dark outside, is like romantically lit, dim. I prefer this so my eyes don't get tired of watching the television, playing a game or playing the keyboard. And so it's cool that I can dim the buttons that operate the style control, the registrations and whatever. There's only one small downfall that I forgot to mention in the minus point, because this is not so much of a minus point that it annoys me to actually write it down, but it suddenly sprung to mind because yesterday with old and new, when I returned home, it was too loud with the fireworks to go to bed, so I put on my earphones and I started playing. And even though I set the brightness of the keys down, what is happening is when you do a fill-in, the light starts flashing, or when you swap variation, then the light starts flashing. And this flashing, no matter the brightness of your keys, the flashing will always be at brightness 4. So the brightness of the flashing doesn't change according to the brightness of the buttons that you set overall. So a hint for Yamaha: in the next update or whatever following update, make sure that the flashing will also go down the same setting as you're using, as you're watching. Because right now, when I was playing yesterday night, every time the lights were flashing, it looked like a hospital car is coming by with these waving lights on top, like whew, whew, and my room was bright, dark, bright, dark. And people with epilepsy, they will definitely get a stroke if they swap variations too much. Okay, maybe I'm making a joke of it, but yeah, it just looks a bit, unprofessional, a bit weird. But like I said, usually I don't play at 1 or 2 o'clock midnight, almost close to the morning. So usually that time the keyboard isn't turned on. And it's not a problem in overall, but it's just weird to me. So this is why I still, even though I said I wanted to have all the negative Nancy stuff out of the way, I still wanted to point that out. Well, one point there's also a plus and minus about, but not from me. A plus points are the LED lights and also the sliders. For me, I will tell you why. The LED lights, I kind of forgot to tell that in the Dutch version of the review, but the LED lights are easy when I'm making a video and I would aim the camera on the keyboard. You can roughly see my master settings of the volumes, the balance, everything can be seen in one shot. Because you'll know just as good as I do that these sliders and these turning knobs, which all get LEDs, they will not move automatically like those expensive mixing tables that when you're moving it on your phone, you'll see the slider go down. The sliders aren't motorized. They remain on the position that you left them the last time. So this is why I find these LED lights very easy, so people can roughly see how the keyboard is adjusted. And also, except for the LED lights, the sliders. Well, to me it's a plus point. On the first Genos, no matter if the volume, for instance, of a style or an instrument you're playing is very low, if the slider is on top and you move it a little bit, the volume jumps without a fluid gradation to the volume the slider is at the moment. Result, I'm having a heart attack, paintings will fall off the wall of the neighbors. Oh, okay, I'm making a joke of it, I know, but to me, every time that was a scare moment. Yeah, you get used to it in the long run because you adapt to when you're moving it, you are ready for that jump in sound change or volume change. But still, I don't have to like it, and no, I didn't. The solution, what they did is, when you move the sliders, if they are not in the same position as the LED lights, the volume or effector changing will only respond as soon as the slider hits the position of where it officially was when you made the registration or one-touch setting. And then the volume or effect will go with your slider. Like VRAM did a negative part on this because he doesn't like this. Because he says, I'm having to move the slider up and down before it picks it up. Well, maybe it's the way he plays, but no, all you have to do is pick it down to the position, then the reply of the LED lights will stick to the position of your slider, and you don't have to go up and down, you can go down in one go. As you can go up in one go. As long as you go to the position and you're hitting that position, it will be stuck on what you are going to do with the slider. It will follow your movement. So you don't have to go up and down before it's being picked up. But there's a solution to this. Yamaha in the next update maybe give us in the options menu a toggle switch. Either keep it this way, give it whatever name, like for instance Genos 2 setting, Genos 1 setting. And if you put it in Genos 1 setting, no matter where the sliders are, when you move it, you get that jump scare effect. And if you prefer this, hats off to you. If they will listen to this, if Yamaha will put this in an update, you too can scare your neighbor's socks off. Yeah, I know I'm making a light joke of it, but in all respect, to each is his own. If that's what he prefers, then yeah, every musician has the right to be happy with his instrument. And if Yamaha can make this happen by just making, because it's a touchscreen, you don't have to add a hardware button to toggle the switch. So to me it's not a negative, but I still wanted to clear this out of the way. And the final part, before I go to my overview, is the filter swapping and sound swapping. And what do I mean? Well, and that can be done by one-touch settings or registration. What I mean is, when a one-touch setting or a registration uses a different sound and or different effect, and you transfer from one to another, there was a big chance you'll hear a weird additional sound, or like a ah, or a weird, or for instance, with my way, I have it that when I swapped variation, you suddenly hear the strings that was playing in a softer part in the registration before it, you'll hear a gentle swell, while I didn't even play the string with the right hand anymore, but still it came back, and then it swapped over to the next variation. These kind of problems have always been persistent in the workstations of Yamaha, but every time you went, well, at least from what I have had in my own possession, from Taurus 4, I've played the Taurus 5 at Maurice's place, and then of course my Genos 1, which is gone now, and the Genos 2. Every time they step up with the instrument, this problem is getting smaller and smaller. And how do I mean smaller? you have a bigger window in which you can swap without that strange effect. And also when you use the trick, I will always call it the trick, then you can eliminate this problem on every model, but it works even better on the Genos because of that timing window which I spoke of. What is the trick? Well, usually when you want to change variation, and that does work only with one-touch settings because you'll have to do this with the style control. When you want to swap it doesn't matter from where to where, but in this example I'll go to from variation 2 to variation 3. So when I want to swap in a style that has 4 counts, 1, 2, 3, 4, then I do I press the beginning of the fill in because I want a complete break. So the beginning of the break, fill in, I will start in the variation I'm at, so variation 2, 1, 2, and then on 3 I hit variation 3 and it will swap over. In this time you also should have released your right hand from the keyboard. And usually with the music that I play, that is the timing when you need to swap over to the new instrument, so it will automatically happen. In other words, even with a reasonably tight swapping window, so to speak, you'll still 80–90% eliminate the chance of that strange effect creeping into your performance. And as a matter of fact, some people just ignore the first part of the break and will hit the button from variation 2 to variation 3 in one go at the second count. To me, because I'm like nitpicking, then I say I miss the first half of the break. But yeah, to others it doesn't have to be a problem. I just like it to be, everything must be in the same order. So filter swapping is improved. And I will also add in this also another tip. What I also did in my modern take on Cherry Pink and Apple Blossom White is this song I've built with like an electronic, it was not a real dance style, well, it was a more modern sounding style. And the instruments were synthesizer based with effects, also synthesizer based. But still, I wanted also to have that trumpet kind of sound in there. So what I did was, I did that, or trumpet or brass, I forgot exactly which one, but it's a wind instrument at least. What I did was, I kept that same synthesizer effect I've been using on the other 3 one-touch settings, and I threw that over that woodwind instrument, and that gave a cool effect that the brass sounds computerized, so to speak. So as a matter of fact, I was downscaling the sound from its original sample to a computerized sound. But that was on purpose. The advantage, you don't have the filter swapping problem anymore because the filter isn't swapped. The only thing that was swapped was the instrument. So you only have to do the timing where you want the instruments to change. And there's no timing gap where you should press it, so the filter swap isn't heard. So that's also a trick you can use. Yeah, this video is turning into tips. I did the same tips in the Dutch version, but I wasn't truly telling it was a tip, but I know for sure they will understand. Well, we are ready, we're at the end of the list, and it was a cool video to make. I've already did it, the review, before this video, but first of all, I had the keyboard longer than I recorded the first review video. And second, when I recorded the video, I wasn't sure if I would get a video edit program to work. Because I'm still using my laptop, my PC has not still yet returned to me. but I still wanted to be able to do video editing in this holiday. And now I have been able to buy myself the video edit program that I want, because yeah, there are lots of programs that I can buy that I could pay using Ideal. But now the Cyberlink program, the Power Director 2024 version, can be bought using Ideal. So I thought, you know what, I first tried to make them fix my problem with the 13 model, and that was very old. They helped me out after quite some time, which I can understand because it's the holiday season. They responded, they gave me new downloads. The thing is, the program was still asking for a key. The key wasn't delivered in the same downloads that has been given to me. So I had to try and use my old key. So I thought maybe they have resetted the amounts of use you can get out of installing it on different devices. But no, it didn't work. And you know what, I love working with the program, and they were helpful, and so I thought, you know what, they deserve that. If they let me pay them, and they did, I will buy the program again and get the newer version. And in hindsight, I'm glad I did, because, and then I'm only looking at just one option, the removing a background color. That works so much better, but this will be for a different video. I'm now in a more happy mood making this video. The first review was, it was still honest. It used the same points except for that registration and filter swapping, because at that time I didn't know if there was a difference between this and the Genos 1. But yes, there is, so I had to point it out. But I'm much more positive minded now, and I felt it watching the old review video. It was like, I don't like watching this myself, and I want to make a video that if I like watching it, that I feel the happy mood shining through, then that is the way, that is the moment you have to make a video. So no matter if I did it like for 30 minutes or so, and I have to remove that work, that doesn't matter, because the end result is more important. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it useful. And this is not to say that you have to change from your instrument you're using to a Genos. This is just to give you my 2 cents of how I'm thinking about it. Let another musician be happy with his saying. Please tell me what you like or dislike. Dislikes, if I only get to see this instrument sucks, or very short, no constructive criticism, it will be removed, just like Vibram said. I want to come back to when you ask something that might be negative, and if I could clear it up, or maybe say, hey, you're right, this is indeed bad, or I agree, this should have been changed. But me, I don't see it that they rest on their laurels in this 6th year they took building this keyboard, because of the COVID, the epidemic. It influenced everyone, and to just say in ignorance, no, they had 6 years, no, they haven't. No, they haven't had 6 years. So yeah, be real. In certain factories, in certain countries, they were not able to go home. And some jobs can't be done working from home. I wish my job could, but driving a forklift means I have to sit on the damn thing. I have to go to the damn thing. So yeah, something jobs is, be realistic. And that's all I'm asking for in the comments. Yes, you can be negative. I don't only want to hear the rose-tinted stuff, that it's all peachy, because I can see the faults. And if you've used things that I haven't used yet and you found it out, please let me know, and I will try this out for myself, and I will come back to this. Yes, you are right. Let's have a discussion about this. And that is much more fun than just trying to ruin somebody's happiness with his or her new instrument. I wish you a very nice day and I see you in the next video.